Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video I have the ultimate guide to myth for y'all. In this video I will be breaking down the school identity, the general gameplay loop and stuff like that, along with the best gear and a good deck setup and all. I did a video like this for the fire some time ago and you guys seem to really like it, and I'll keep this stuff going forward. Best way to support it is by leaving a like rating and leaving a comment down below and let me know what school you want to see next here on the channel. And I probably will be making a playlist for it as well, just to kind of organize things here on the channel. Okay, so first thing is first, I'd like to talk about Myth's identity. Now, Myth's identity, like a school like Storm, has changed since the start of the game. Storm used to be the glass cannon school at the start, and now it's not in the end game. Myth used to be the minion school at the start, and now it's not really a minion school at the end game. This is because an update called Rochambeau that happened in like 2020 is basically a way for the devs to structure the game better and help them understand advanced content and PvP more. And I made plenty of Rochambeau guides on the channel here, but I'll break it down again for Myth in the case. So every school has things it can leverage, right? So in this case, you can look at your gambits, and for a Myth, that is going to be Myth Scion, Myth Jin, and obviously the Myth Oni. So Myth Oni leverages dots, and then Myth Scion leverages traps, and Myth Jin leverages shields. So you are good with shields, traps, and dots. That's what you need to know. Now, as a Myth, you also counter two other effects, which is going to be shields and weaknesses. And this is what makes Myth so incredibly broken in the game. In terms of Rochambeau, it's because it's the third highest damage school in the game, and the actual debuffs like set shields and weaknesses, the primary form of damage mitigation, doesn't really work because they can hit through them and do a ridiculous amount of damage with their Rochambeau spells. Spells like Stone Colossus and Drop Bear Fairy or like Minotaur even always guarantee a Myth a really good hit around debuffs. Minions, I imagine, will be coming back sometime soon. They've been gone for a while now, and I know a lot of people have been asking for them to come back, so I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with them. Obviously, minions is supposed to be part of Myth's identity, but minions aren't factored for like in their Rochambeau system. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do about that. So yeah, let's talk about the actual primary gameplay loop of a Myth and the meta and stuff right now. So generally, the best gambit on a Myth is going to be a shield gambit. Shield gambits are really good because they're extremely powerful, and they are 11 pips, and shield gambits are easy to set up because, well, you're probably going to be shielding anyways to gain tempo and buy yourself time. So in a way, you'll find yourself accidentally setting up this super powerful hit. But some matchups like Fire and another Myth, for example, you can't go for this because they are really good at countering shields. So against those other matchups is what I like to call the neutral gameplay loop of a Myth. And that's going to consist of, you know, buffing and, you know, maybe debuffing to buy yourself time and pips, like a weakness and all, or maybe a shield, depending on the matchup, right? And then you play around the three main moves. Now, if you do PvP, you already know what I'm going to say. And that's going to be your three main moves on a Myth are Stone Colossus, Ninja Pigs, and like Drop Bear Fairy or Minotaur. If you get buffs set up on a Myth, literally all you need is to have these spells in your hand at all times, because you'll be threatening so much pressure with your stats and your high damage per pip that they'll eventually have to shield or weakness or just eat a really big hit like Ninja Pigs. So no matter what the opponent does, they're essentially going to be losing tempo and a lot of health that they can't trade with via Stone Colossus or Drop Bear Fairy, or Myth Ninja Pigs, which is basically equal to like Triton damage per pip in a way. To put things in comparison, Myth Ninja Pigs is literally equal to like a max tier path A Triton right now in the game. And then just imagine playing any school that's not Storm as well. The card would be absolutely insane considering your stats on a Myth. So yeah, that's going to be generally your gameplay loop, is buffing up via blades and maybe traps, and then threatening those three big moves. And sometimes if you have the pips and the time, you could send a base gen the damage on it is really good as well. And obviously, again, depending on the matchup, you can go for like a, you know, maybe a trap gambit with calendar or shield gambit as well. So yeah, we covered the base gameplay loop of a myth, and we've covered the identity so far. Now, I'm going to show you guys the meta setup on a myth and explain everything and all. So right here, if you just want to, you know, take a screenshot of this or snippet tool, which is what I do typically, this is the setup you're going to want to have on a myth. You could run Stalker Robe instead of Hun Hao, but I'd argue the Hun Hao stats are just way better in my opinion, guys. So that is the best gear you can have, and we'll go over the stats right now. So 11.2k, which is really good. 191 damage, which is really good. 71 res, which is absolutely insane, right? Perfect accuracy to myth and almost perfect accuracy to storm. I've never ever fizzled a storm hit personally. Your crit and your block is probably one of the worst parts about it, but it's just kind of mid. It's in the middle of the pack. It's not bad. 63 pierce, which is absolutely insane. That's the second highest pierce in the game right now, only second to fire. P-serve is about like a 50-50, give or take, and then you have 4-piece shad, which is extremely important right now in the meta with perfect pip chance. So the setup I'm running is the Wastelander hat. Again, you're going to want to have all your storm pins. I am missing the damage ones. I think I accidentally deleted them like a dumbass, so I need to go refarm those. So keep that in mind, but you're going to want 4 storm accuracy pins with this build and setup, and the rest will be sword pins for storm punishing pins. Okay, guys? But Wastelander hat with those pins, Hun Hao robe with those pins as well. What's really nice about the Hun Hao robe as well is you get an item card max tier stone classes, which means you can basically have more room in your main deck to pack 1 less stone in main, but still have 4 in a way. I hope that kind of makes sense. The Shabalba boots as well. You get a reliquary here, which again is really helpful. The Shabalba wand is just incredibly good for a myth. Hun Hao wand is also really good as well. Nothing wrong with that wand. Reaver Athame, it's just the best right now. Hun Hao amulet, just the best right now as well. Reaver amulet is also really good. There's not really anything wrong with it, but I like to have the resist more personally, and I have noticed a difference running 71 res over 69 with Reaver. And then we have the Skyfarer's band. As of right now, there's no 170 good, you know, pip damage health ring in the game right now. So this is the best you can do currently. And this is the pet I have at the moment. It's pretty good. Just a standard, you know, double mighty breaker. Now, myths have kind of shifted towards a bubble pet and stopped using the fuel pet. Kind of because the fuel pet is just not as good anymore because the counters to traps got better. Like, you know, scales, centaur, or fires running like Sun Serpent Immolate, they're all pretty good and all. And a lot of things that myth wizards have noticed is if you just have bubble control with the amount of like blades and traps you can do and the amount of pressure you have with pigs, minnow, and drop bear, like all you need to focus on is having those buffs and winning bubble, and like it's really difficult to lose on a myth. So having a 5th bubble or a bubble pet on like a myth or a fire, it just makes it so much better. And again, they can't really counter it like the mythic fuel. A bubble is just really good to have. Could you win with a fuel pet? Yeah, I've seen it happen, but generally I would say you get a lot more success running the bubble pet, guys. Then we have the Clockwork Courser and the Dream Stalker deck as well. I'm running the Stalker deck for the health socket and the pip conserve as well. And you do get a bit more Arch Mastery, which is kind of nice. So yeah, that is the stats we are running currently right now. And this is the main deck I'm running. You probably saw it already. And this is the side deck I'm running right now currently. Again, it's just a lot of counters, a lot of buffs and all. I don't have to run Lightning Bats unlike another school because I have Shift on a myth, which is incredibly OP. And this card's probably gonna get banned within the next couple of updates, I would assume. So yeah, we've talked about the fundamental gameplay loop and what you want to do on a myth. We talked about the build as well. I showed off my deck, and we talked about the identity as well. If there is any other questions you guys have, let me know in the comments below, along with, again, what school you want to see next here on the channel. I hope this video is helpful, guys. I do enjoy making guides for y'all, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care.